Hey guys, welcome to the Rusty Beauty's garage and to our 1970 TR6 restoration. It's been a while since I worked last on this car. Again, lots of small projects came in the way, but now they are kind of out of the way. So we're back on the TR6 and I want to start finishing it because it's almost ready for the road. I mean, we already took it on a road test quickly and we figured out some small issues that we need to take care of because of course after the first test it's always like that. Meanwhile, John bought new tires for the car. He actually took the wheels off and took them somewhere. They installed the tires and they're back on. So now we have brand new tires on the car. Something happened with the wiring. Look at that. So when the car is running, the alternator light is on somehow, which normally shows that the alternator is not charging, but it's actually charging. I measured it, and normally if it's not charging, it should be the opposite, shouldn't it? The light is the brightest at idle, and when you raise the RPM, because it starts charging at least a little, it goes dimmer and dimmer. But here it's the opposite. The higher the RPM, the brighter the light. So I don't know what happened to the wiring. We're gonna have to investigate that. Also, before we went for a test drive, we dealt with the brakes again a little bit. It turns out that the rear brakes were not holding at all. We drove it only with front brakes, so we have to see why the rear brakes are not operating properly. And I heard something from the transmission as I was driving it, but we don't have a windshield, so I couldn't hear very well. So what I want to do is install the windshield and go for another test drive. Oh, by the way, John also came by and he installed this sound deadening himself. And here is John. Some of you probably met him in the early episodes of this series. He was what, 20 at the time? When we started restoring this car, when we started repairing the frame of this car, then it turned into a ground up restoration. So he's gonna use this, yeah, he's the first customer, yeah. Actually, before that, we only worked on our own cars in the limousine center. Oops, I said the bad word. Anyway, that's what John is gonna do today. I'm gonna show you a little bit of progress during the day. All right, so John is making some progress. He laid them down to make sure that he has enough for everywhere. And now he's just crack-a-lacking.
That's it.
Oh no, you're not matching the letters? Come on. And what else? Oh, the carburetors, they need to be tuned up obviously, but also this choke cable doesn't work very well. I mean, it doesn't return. So when I pull the cable, it operates kind of. You see, it needs to go more. Okay. So when I pull the cable, it operates, but when I push it back in, well, now they returned. Sometimes they don't return. So I found in John's parts a cable that is with a solid core, so it can push them back. So we're gonna have to install that new cable. We're gonna install the windshield. I parked her outside once because I was working on another project and the sun hit her, and from the heat all the glue came loose from the windshield from the wrap that we put on the windshield frame. So I'm gonna have to respray it again. We're gonna glue it back down and we're gonna install the windshield. So I think that's the first thing that we're gonna do today, and we'll see what else. We're gonna have to start doing lots of work now on this car. I'm sure John is impatient already. The sun is out, it's summer, he wants to drive this car and I don't have it ready. Yeah, we're gonna focus a little bit more on it, even though I'd like to put my hands on my baby here, TR4, the newly acquired project for me, but we need to make a living as well, right? So we're gonna work on this today. We'll see. We have to, in the engine bay, we're almost done. We only need to install the radiator shroud. We have a stainless steel one. We need to adjust the valves and replace the valve cover. And I think other than tuning up the carbs and changing the choke cable, we are done here. Well, there's a battery box, like a aftermarket battery plastic box that we need to install as well. Fasten the battery. This is actually David's battery. John will need to buy a new one, so we're gonna install a new battery there. The latch for the bonnet needs to be installed. These need to be adjusted, the bump stops. And here also, if you remember, with this seal, we didn't have much luck, so looks like we're gonna have to take it out and cut it a little bit so we can make it close properly, because it doesn't. I was hoping that it was gonna saddle a little bit and it was gonna close, but it doesn't. So we're gonna do that, and then it's interior. I think John has a set of carpet that we can install. We can start assembling under the dash, the vent hoses and the glove box, and put the transmission cover. He has a split one, so we're gonna install that, and yeah, start putting her together a little by little. We need door handles, obviously. John has them. We need a grille, we need bumpers. Lots of work still on it, but we have to start getting it done. So without further ado, let's get crack-a-lacking. Okay, so the vinyl is re-glued. Needed just a little bit of glue, and it's stuck now. And I'm not worried that it's gonna unstick again, because it's gonna be pinched by the gasket. So we are ready to start installing the windshield, and I put it here on the improvised table on the bonnet of the car. And we have a gasket and the glazing strip as well, with the little finisher from Moss Motors. So let's see. Unfortunately, these gaskets lately are disaster. I bought multiple times from different places, and they're all like very stiff, and they are really hard to install on the windshield. The hardest part is actually to install the gasket on the windshield and make it stay, because by the time you put one corner, the other one comes out. It's not so hard to put it on the frame after that. But let's see. So I'm gonna put you on time-lapse mode maybe, so don't waste your time. I've done that multiple times before, and I have videos on the channel, so I'm not gonna go probably in way too many details of installing it, but still I'm gonna show you the process. Well, look who showed up for a quick visit, and he actually helped me to finish installing the gasket on the windshield, because that was a struggle. So he's out for a test drive with this Italian non-rusty beauty that is grinding gears.
Ciao, baby.
Ciao, tutto bene? Don't honk, she's gonna stall. Yeah, I like the British ones better. It's an Italian Spitfire. All right, so thanks God he showed up, because actually I was really struggling with this corner here, because this gasket was way too short. It needed to be stretched. I remember before I had the opposite problem. It was too long, and it was like literally hanging out, and when I try to push it in, the corner comes out. Then I try to push the corner in, the other corner comes out, and it was like really hard to install it. Now it was still hard, but it was because it became too short. Anyway, it worked, it's on. So now I'm just gonna put a piece of wire inside here. I figured that wire works best. Actually, let me show you which wire I'm talking about. This is the wire that I've been using lately. It's I believe 10 gauge wire, and it works best because there's not much friction between the rubber and the insulation of the wire. Of course, we use soapy water. I didn't use soapy water here because it would make it easier for the rubber to go in, but it makes it easier for the rubber to go out. As I'm pushing one corner, the other one would come out, you know what I mean? So now it has friction between the glass and the rubber, and it wouldn't come out so easy. But here we're gonna put soapy water, and we're gonna stick the rubber inside. So I'm gonna put you on time-lapse mode for that as well. Alright, so we have the wire inside this channel, the channel that is gonna fit over the lip of the windshield frame. And I know that I've shown that process many times on the channel, but you know what, I'm just gonna show it in a little bit more detail here again for people who maybe haven't seen these videos. So what the heck, like, if you've seen it before, just skip through it. Alright, so we're gonna put the windshield, we're gonna try to fit the bottom end over the lip. What? Is this windshield correct for here? No way. Alright, looks like we're gonna abandon the windscreen job because I don't know what happened. I just messaged John and he says that this is the windscreen that he's been storing for years. So I don't know what happened, but definitely we're gonna have to find another one. So without wasting any more time with it, I'm gonna put it away and we're gonna start dealing with something else. We can't deal with this right now. Alright, I went to check the ignition light and to see why that's happening. And let's look at the diagram here, how the ignition light is hooked up. When we turn the ignition on, we have 12 volt on this side and it goes to the bulb on the dash. So that's with the ignition turned on, but the engine is not running. So the alternator is not producing any power. So through all the coils inside and everything, we have ground on the field wire, which is this brown with yellow wire. So we have power and ground to the light, and of course the light comes on. Once we start the car, the alternator starts charging, but not with its full capacity. It needs to see 12 volts on this field wire, and once it sees 12 volts, then it starts charging fully. And once it starts charging fully, then it sends 12 volt to this field wire. Then what happens here with the bulb is we have 12 volt on one side and 12 volt on the other side, and of course the light comes off. So if something happens and the alternator stops charging, again we have ground here on this side, the power on this side is always on with the ignition switch on, so the light comes on if the alternator stops working. In our case though, what happens is when I turn the ignition switch on and I measure here without starting the engine, and I measure here, I get the 12 volts from the ignition switch through the light bulb, and everything is okay. I have ground on the other side and the light comes on perfectly. However, when I start the car, I see here 20 volts, not 12. So because we have 20 volts on the one side and 12 on the other, that 8 volt difference is enough to power our bulb. That's what's happening. And actually, the more we rev the engine, the higher the voltage on this side. That's why the bulb becomes brighter and brighter with the higher RPM. I checked the output that charges the battery, and it's not 20 volts, it's 13.5. When I unplug the field wire, it charges with 12.8, something like that. Once I plug it in, it starts charging perfectly the battery with 13 point something, but the field wire produces 20 volts, which is weird. I don't know why, but unfortunately, I don't know much about alternators, the internals, and I've never taken one apart, so I don't know what's going on here. But let me take it. All right, it's been 20 minutes and she's definitely not overcharging. She's even going down now for whatever reason. So now I'm gonna wait and see if it is gonna start going up again, which means that the voltage regulator built in the alternator is doing its thing. I just don't understand why it's putting out 20 volts on the field wire. Okay, we're up again. So it is cycling, it's going up and down, up and down. So exactly what we needed to do. So let me turn it on. So it's doing exactly what it needs to do, except the field wire is putting out such a high voltage. So I'm not really sure why that is. Anyway, can't do anything about it. We're gonna see, maybe we're gonna have to replace the alternator. In the meantime, I started replacing the choke cable, and I was looking for, because I realized the temperature gauge was not working, and I bought a new temp sender, but I can't find it now, so I'm looking for that. So I'm gonna find that and replace it, and maybe we're gonna deal with the distributor. I'll tell you what my idea is. All right, finally one project I completed for today. It is crazy, whatever I start today just doesn't work. I mean, the temp sender I couldn't find, so I went and I checked my order. I didn't order it. So I was wondering why it wasn't in the box. Anyway, I went and I assembled the, I went and I replaced the choke cables, and that worked well, at least. You see these with the solid wire inside, they work just like a charm. So closed and open all the way, worked perfect. One thing done. Let me see, I'm gonna start doing some simple things because today things don't work very well. You know what I'm gonna do? This has been long overdue. If we remember the windshield wiper switch, I had to replace it with a different one because the original one didn't work. But this new style that they sell is a little bit wider here and it doesn't fit inside this plate. So I'm gonna have to grind this plate and make this one fit there. And I'm gonna see if I'm gonna file that. I might use this, or actually I might also use this. Okay, we'll see. Okay, that took a while, but I was able to grind it. I used all of these, but this only fits to a certain point, and I was afraid not to grind the wood, so I mostly used this and a file, but it worked. Now the problem is that the way this is meant to look is by this thing here on a piece of sheet metal, but here we have this wooden dash before the sheet metal, and actually we had two pieces of sheet metal here. One is on the wooden dash and the other one is the actual metal dash, so I had to grind both. Anyway, it fits like this, and it is not very loose, but it's still, I'm able to pull it out with my fingers. Hold on. Now I can't, which is good. Anyway, so I might just put a little bit of electrical tape around it and just jam it in, and that's gonna be it. Okay, so assembled, and now if we turn the ignition on, we have wipers. Slow speed, high speed, and park. Good. Turn the ignition off because we don't want to burn the electronic ignition. And I don't know what's next. Maybe, you know what? I keep getting mad at myself when I'm opening this door that there's no door handle on the outside. So maybe we should do that. Let's install the door handle. Maybe we can even start dealing with these strips, you know? Some jobs that don't require brain, because today my brain is like just crazy. Okay, so we have a handle and a lock on this side, and they work. Look at that. That's locked. Yes. And that's unlocked. Perfect. So that works, and I didn't show you because it's super simple. There's two screws that hold the handle, and the lock is just push in. I'll show you the other one. I'm sure most of you know. Oops. So there's two tabs, or whatever you want to call them. You just push in and they click and it stays. So that's for the other side. We also have a glove box lock, and we have a barrel, replacement barrel for the trunk. So John is gonna have lots of keys. However, I discovered a big issue here with the glass, with the lifting mechanism here. So I know this is the wrong handle, but that's what I had handy. Look at that. And when I want to go up, it's just spinning. Every once in a while it catches. When I push in, it catches and lifts a little bit, but then it continues to spin. And if I push down, the teeth here on the gear are just spinning. So we're gonna have to take it out. Good thing we discovered this now, because if we put the seals here, it was gonna be much harder to do it. This way we can take the glass out and deal with this problem. I've done it before, and then I tried to do it again on another car and it didn't work. So let's see if this one is gonna work. There you go. So there's, you see these rails here at the bottom of the glass. They're two separate, and this is where these rollers ride inside those rails. So it's pretty clever mechanism, but inside here there's a gear that meshes with these teeth, and probably this gear got disconnected from this shaft, and the shaft is spinning freely inside the gear or something like that. So we're gonna have to drill these rivets and see what the damage is. Okay, forgot about the spring. Here. See, these teeth are bad. That's not good. Why is this two pieces though? What if we just weld it together? Doesn't need to be two pieces, right? in, and again, I don't understand why it needs to be separate pieces. Okay, I'm just gonna put 2 tacks here and I'm gonna grind it. Do I need to? I don't even need to grind it actually, because it doesn't touch anywhere. So I'm gonna put 2 tacks here. First I'm gonna clean it on the wire wheel. I'm gonna put 2 tacks and that's it. Then we're gonna lubricate it, of course, and we're gonna assemble it again. And here we're gonna have to tack it as well. I'm gonna put a few tacks, like plug welds. Oh my god. Okay, I tacked it, but in that corner of the garage it's too dark, and I went a little bit too close to the hole, so now it doesn't fit. So I'm gonna have to file it. Okay, that's good now. So now let's clean it. That worked well. So now we're just gonna, I cleaned up a little bit the rollers here and made sure that they are good, because sometimes they get flat, they get one side flat if they get stuck. These ones are rolling, so no problem. I'm just gonna lubricate a little bit here, these points. Lithium white grease. The rails I'm not gonna touch yet. I just cleaned them up a little bit, but I don't want to make them super messy now. So we're gonna install the glass first, and then I can lubricate them and spray inside the rails after everything is assembled. Okay, let's see how many cans we're gonna need. I think we're gonna need at least 3. And that's exactly how much, and that's exactly how many I have. Not really, but oh. Look at that. Oh. So now one roller starts on this side of the rail, the other one starts on the other side of the other rail. Finally. Okay. better. Okay, and now I can lubricate the chain out here as well. Don't you just love it when your grease spray backfires into your face? I do. Not. Okay. Okay, this side is installed as well. Works perfect. We have one extra handle. The car came with 3 doors. This glass goes up and down, no problem. And we're done with the doors internals. So it became kind of late, so I'm gonna call it a day. But tomorrow I guess we're gonna start with the trim at the top of the doors and continue with other things like that. Okay, it's the next day and she starts to look like a car now. With door handles and all that, you know. When you start filling up old holes on the body, it's starting to look like a car, complete car. So I think next let's fill up this big hole here with this grill. So I also pulled out this for the soft top because we might start dealing with that as well. We have 2 of these cappings and we will see which one looks better. They're both scratched in the area where the pins for the top go, but this one also has other holes here and other dents here and there. And I also put this for the top of the doors. I just need to see if we had the clips for that. But first let me attach the grill. Now here there must be a trim piece that I have no idea what the reason for that is. To be honest, I don't really like it. It collects dirt in between here and the piece, and often cars rust here. Plus here we don't have the tabs that hold it in place, so I think we're gonna go ahead without it. Okay, I have this kit with rubber seal ring assortment. Well, it is rubber grommets obviously, and I installed them here on the holes. So now we can put the grill and tighten it from inside. That's gonna make a big difference on how the car looks. Okay, that looks good. So it turns out that 2 of the studs, I didn't realize that, but 2 of the studs are snapped and are too short. So this one and that one in the corner over there. But still, there's 6 more. I'm pretty sure that's more than enough to hold the grill in place. So we're gonna call it done. And that's what she looks like with the grill. Maybe we should install also the trim rings on the headlights so she looks more complete in the front. Here, I don't think that we were gonna be able to use the trim piece underneath anyway, because you see it's touching here. I had a hard time installing the grill. Again, I don't know what the purpose of this trim here is, and I actually find the car looking better without it because the trim is black. Okay, so even though we have brand new headlights here, including the buckets and everything in the back, they came without trim rings, so we have to use our own, and we have a whole bunch of them over there. Now we're gonna go through them, but just I wanted to show you the old style. The original headlights used to have a little clip here that retains a tab on the trim ring, and that was like really hard to install sometimes, that and never holds, and it gets broken sometimes. Here we have, oh my god, that's gonna fall out. Okay, it fell. Here on these they actually put these clips that go on this tab like that, and now we can run a screw like here. The screw is here. So for that we need to find two of the trim rings that we have here that are in the best shape of all, and we're gonna have to drill holes. Actually, this one already has a hole. Somebody somebody played with it, but you can see here, here, this is the tab that goes into that little retainer of the original lights. On this one, for example, it's broken. It used to be here, but it's not here anymore. So somebody drilled it out, I guess, or I don't know. Unfortunately though, this light, this ring is not the best one, and this one too. So let's go through the other ones and see if we can find something better. Yeah, this looks beautiful. Still has this tab though, so we're gonna have to get rid of it now. There is a dot here. This dot is for the top, to center it. Once you center this right at the edge of the bonnet, this tab should fall in place into that clip on the old style. This has some dents here at the bottom. This is the bottom. The rest looks not too bad. So we have a winner. We have two winners. So let's try and get rid of these tabs now. There you go. Okay, before we grind the other one away, let's see if this is gonna mount. So this flange inside needs to go over these two tabs on the top of the headlight first, and then the bottom should go in. Again, the dot needs to be up. Okay. Somehow looks like the headlight needs to be higher. And this needs to be adjusted too. To adjust them properly though, we need to be against a flat wall somewhere. We have to take out the ring again and adjust more. It's gonna be fun. But again, we're gonna adjust them later. Alright, so one is installed. I don't like this screw. I don't like it at all. But it's underneath, nobody's gonna see it. Okay, I'm gonna install the other one as well. And then we're gonna take a photo for the thumbnail of the video. So what's missing here in the front is the bumper. Other than that, the front end looks complete. We have another hole here, that's for antenna, and I believe I have the antenna. John brought it, but I'm gonna keep it off until we install the windshield, which John actually already bought another windshield, so we're gonna have it soon. So let me go look around for these clips for here, and we're gonna start with the weather stripping, which is the dream job of many people. So I found the clips. John had them, but actually you're right, we have to decide what we're doing with the inside of the door here, whether it's gonna be wrapped. John said that he wanted to order the door pulls, but they are like expensive and I don't like them, to be honest, and I think they go only on late cars. Not really sure what the situation was. Now here they didn't do a great job with the paint. I don't know if this is clear coat on the outside, but whatever it is, the shiny part, it's not on the inside. Here it looks a little bit matte. So I don't know, I asked John already and we're gonna see what he's gonna decide. So one more time, I'm gonna leave that for later. So let's do something else. Maybe, oh, we started with the local with the locks yesterday, so let's finish with the locks. Let's change this barrel because I don't think John has a key for it. We have a new one. I don't know how this works. I've never done that, so let's figure it out together. I'm gonna have to take out these 4 screws, take the whole mechanism out, and we will see if we can reach the back and how to change this barrel inside. Well, another job that looks easy but turns out to be pretty complicated. I mean, I can take out these screws. These 2 were loose, but these 2, they're just seized. And I started rounding them, and I tried with vice grips even, and that didn't work. I tried with this impact screwdriver where you can hammer, which was donated to the channel by a viewer, and even with that I started rounding the heads, so it doesn't work. I think John is gonna come later today to bring me the windshield, and I'm gonna ask him if he wants me to change that after all, because apparently this barrel works and he has the key for it. The thing is, it's only one key, so I don't know. We'll see what he wants to do. I can keep trying here, but eventually I'm gonna snap the screws, and then we're gonna have to drill, and I might drill through the balance. No, I won't, but you know what I mean. If I don't have to drill and tap here, better not to. So I'm gonna wait for John for that. I'm gonna wait. Okay, that's becoming that's becoming annoying. So I decided to work on the cupping here of the windshield frame, but then I noticed that this receiver for the lock on the soft top is missing on the other side, and I went through the parts quickly and I couldn't find it. Probably it's here somewhere, but I don't want to waste time with it. John is actually bringing the windshield that he bought together with a windshield frame, so I'm gonna wait for that frame to come and see if it has this. I'm just gonna take the one from there. If not, I'm gonna have to go through the boxes that are on that table and under that table and see if I can find this. I don't think I've seen it, but anyway. So instead, we're gonna deal with the distributor. So the engine runs great with this distributor. We installed the electronic ignition on it. However, the vacuum unit is not working. But I thought maybe we can buy a new unit and replace it, and our vacuum advance is gonna work. But then I figured this is not an advance unit, this is a retard unit, which we don't want really, because the retard was added for emissions reasons. So it retards your timing at idle and makes your car idle like crap, but that supposedly is better for the emissions. There's a trick, you can use it as a vacuum advance actually, and if it was working I was gonna do that, but I don't wanna replace it with a new one and then start tricking it to act as an advance. How it is meant to work, because a retard is not hooked up to the carburetor vacuum, it's hooked up to manifold vacuum. So when the throttles are closed and the car is idling, the manifold vacuum builds up, so we have stronger vacuum at idle, and at that time the retard kicks in and retards the timing. When you open the throttles, now all of a sudden we open the manifold to the atmosphere, and now the vacuum decreases in the manifold, and that's when the vacuum retard and allows the timing to advance a little bit. So that's how you can do it. You can set it up at idle, the timing is retarded, you make that your idle timing, whatever it is gonna be. And when you open the throttle, the vacuum decreases and then you advance the timing a little bit. And that's how you trick this retard to act as an advance. But I found in John's parts this other distributor which has retard and advance combo unit. The retard doesn't work again, but the advance on this side works. I tested it and it pulls the plate and it holds it in place. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean it up, take the internals from the other distributor because I already cleaned them up and installed the electronic ignition there, and we're gonna just use this unit. We're not gonna hook up the retard, we're gonna hook up only the vacuum. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I don't think I'm gonna show you a lot of that because we've already done that distributor. So I'm just gonna do it by myself here, and I'm gonna show you the final result. Alright, so here it is, the new distributor installed. The other distributor, but I cleaned it up and I painted it. I should have shown it to you, but yeah, it looks brand new now. Installed the electronic ignition in it. The weights underneath were seized, so I'm glad I took it apart, cleaned up everything, lubricated, including even the gear for the drive gear for the tachometer. So everything is nicely lubricated inside, and it is actually perfect distributor, doesn't have any play. That one had a little bit of play on the shaft, like very little. Well, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm talking about a different distributor, I don't know. But it is installed now, I timed it, and I even started the car and it runs. So that's good. Tomorrow we're gonna run a hose for the vacuum to the advance, so we're gonna have a vacuum advance, and that's it. Meanwhile, John showed up, and we have a windshield, even with the windshield frame that has what we need for the other one. It even has a mirror and all that, so we have that. We also have a bumper. We spread parts all over the place. We have this spoiler. I have no idea what it's called. We even have one of these John brought, but it is cracked, and he said that he's gonna buy new ones of these. So we're gonna wait with the trim. What else did he bring? He brought the entire interior kit that he has, brand new. So we're gonna install this. Here he has the centers for the wheels, a whole bunch of seat belts. He brought 4 because some of them are seized. We're gonna have to find a nice set. And what else? He even brought the tonneau cover that, yeah, I don't know. Oh, I should have given him this windshield. Anyways, he's coming back tomorrow again. I'll give him this wrong windshield. We have another steering wheel that he wants to install. It's again original TR6, but it's the thicker one because this one is it's actually bigger and narrower here, so he prefers the other one, so that's what we're gonna do. Oh, here's my white lithium grease. I was looking for it. Yeah, so that's gonna be it for tonight, but I think I'm gonna continue filming tomorrow. I don't think this is gonna be the end of this video, so I'll see you tomorrow. Well, that's what I thought. I mean, I continued filming, but I thought that there's a lot more room in this video to continue, but it is long already, so we're gonna cut it here. But just as a reward for you, because you stayed and watched until the end, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a spoiler. You can see the stage that we are at now. We have bumper, even license plate, we have windshield, we have the front bumper. I'm not gonna show you what it looks like completely, but yeah, she looks like a car already. So if you want to see how it was done, you have to watch. I believe I have 2 more videos. I think I'm gonna do one in which I'm gonna show you the windshield, because I figured that people that are searching particular problem, they can't really find it on my channel because it's usually part of a particular video. And maybe if just key problems like that, how to install a windshield, I should make in a separate video, which is gonna be easier to find. So I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna make a video only on how to install the windshield, and hopefully that's gonna go viral. And then we're gonna continue with bumpers and other stuff that I've done on the car already. So there's gonna be 2 more videos before you get to see this stage, but because you watched until the end, this is a reward for you. By the way, in the last video I asked people who are not subscribed to subscribe, and I believe in a day I got 17 subscribers only on this particular video, on the previous one I mean. Usually I get 2-3 subscribers per video, and I get a lot of other subscribers that subscribe because of my radio installation and motorcycle repairs and stuff like that, which is good, but these people, they don't watch my Triumph videos, and I want people who watch my Triumph videos to subscribe. Anyways, I thank you guys for subscribing and watching and commenting, obviously, and supporting the channel financially. There's few people that actually sent me PayPal payments after the video, so thank you so much for that, guys. I really appreciate it. So without rambling way too much, thank you again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.